Hi class, welcome to week 2 of Social Work 641. In the second week of this week, we're going to talk about, of the semester, sorry, we're going to talk about engaging communities, asset mapping, asset-based community development a little bit, and then understanding communities from various perspectives. So in macro social work, there are 3 prongs to the practice. So if you're ever looking for jobs in that area, when you search the term social work, it's more than likely coming up mostly as counselors or therapist type roles, one-on-one with the client. So in the micro or macro world, we search in 3 different areas in terms of employment, but also the way it's designed. Um, we we talk about community organizing, community development, and leadership. We talk about administration and how to run organizations. That's a big part of the macro arm of social work. And then the third one being public policy and advocacy. And you've taken the policy courses, so you have a little bit of a feeling for what that is and what that entails. And those were heavily laden in the policy and advocacy area. But there are 2 other pieces to macro, and that is the community development, community organizing, and the administration and leadership pieces. So this session, we get more into those pieces of understanding different facets of communities from various perspectives as we move from our initial conversation in week 1, where we did the overview of the syllabus and the course. We talked about team functioning because you're moving into the CBO groups. You're going to test team functioning roles in that assignment. And then conflict management. And conflict management is something that comes up quite a bit in the social work arena or in every other employment arena, because the 2 things that are constant in any profession are change and conflict. And so how you manage those 2 are very, very important to how you succeed within the profession. Conflict is constant, and so it can actually add a great deal of promise to an organization. If conflicts are managed well, you can come up with really great ideas and jazz up what might have been a good idea and made better based on a difficult conversation of someone who may just not have agreed with the approach and wanted to share a new idea. That's not always conflict by origin, but it gets misinterpreted a lot of times when folks have a design that they're following and don't want to bend all the time. Sometimes it becomes conflictual if there are staff members who think there's a new idea that we should approach. So it's all about how you manage that and not looking at it so much as a negative, but trying to find the strengths in that. So using strength-focused efforts with conflict management. So, in week 2, we'll talk about those areas I mentioned: asset mapping, engaging communities, and understanding communities. And that's because, although we talk about the leadership assignment and it comes on the heels of the first part of the CBO project, it is the CBO paper that comes first in this class. So we heavy hit you up front with the community-based piece, so that we're following along with what you're already starting to do with the agency that you're tracking. And then we'll move more into the leadership conversation, then grant writing and management and not-for-profit boards toward the middle and end of the semester. So that's where we are. We have our first synchronous session on next week. Depending on which section you are in this class with me, you're either Monday or Tuesday, and you'll just need to check your syllabus and in the folder at the bottom where I give special instructions just for added resources. I always list the synchronous sessions there. So we will talk about a case on that call, and I will post something in the folder later this week, in the week 2 folder that will carry over into the week 3 folder, so that we can talk about that either Monday or Tuesday, whichever is your assigned time slot for the synchronous session. So be thinking about which time works for you on the day that's assigned to your class, either 11 a.m. or 6:30 p.m. And I look forward to seeing your faces and talking a little bit and fleshing out some of the assignments, kind of laying out the lay of the land about assignments and how it all stacks up to 100% points. And then talking about whatever the case that I put forward as a form of discussion for us to move forward with our discussions in the class and topics that we've covered so far. So I hope you have a great week learning more about communities and how they function and how to engage them in an organizing approach to movement and change and betterment of communities. With that, I'll leave you, and just don't hesitate to email me or ask questions. I think people are getting the groove of things now. I just want to impress upon you again a couple things I said in the first recording. Soft chalks don't add up to any total. They're not, because otherwise they mess with the grade book grade, it will take you up over 100% and so on and so forth. So it is always set at a score of 0. So you won't have a score at the end. It just wants a value. And it's telling you 8 when you go in for last week's session, for example, but it'll be different every week. And like I said, just don't worry about that. Just make sure you actually get your lecture submitted. I did note a couple folks, there's 2 that didn't come through, and I will let you know who you are. But you need to make sure you click finish on every page and that you clicked at the very end to submit. Otherwise, I don't get the report and you don't get the credit. So I want to make sure that you get it. So we're working out the kinks on that, but we're flying, like I said, is week 2 of what is normally a 14-week course. Lots packed into this 10 weeks. So I want you all to stay up on top of it and be in touch with me so that we can keep on the same page and move things forward. Have a good week.